Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so in the last class, we discussed about gamut cart application containerization, right? So this is what we have done. So we built the application, and then we're able to successfully create the image for gamut cart application. And then we push that image to the Docker Hub, right? So this is your Docker Hub. And then the image for our gamut cart application, we need Ubuntu and then JDK. Then we bundled Tomcat. Then we bundled, the var file, and then a command which will start Tomcat server. So first is clone, second is build, third we create the image, fourth step we push that image to the Docker Hub, and then from Docker Hub we will pull that image, and then we created the container. Correct? But we created only one container. This is gamut cart hyphen image. Gamut cart hyphen image. So when we created the container from this particular image, we were able to get Ubuntu JDK installation, Tomcat installation, var file, then Tomcat server was running. Correct? That's what we have seen. But in real time, in set of the environment, we'll be having multiple containers, right? So for example, you want to create, an environment with 10 containers with some load balancer. So these are all Tomcat servers. So how do you create multiple containers so that your testing team or real live users can access the application? How do you do that? So what I've done here is, so for the fifth step, I've written a shell script, okay, called create env.sh. Create env.sh. Assume that you want 10 containers. Just give 10. Okay. So it will create 10 containers. If you give 100, it will create 100 containers. So that's a shell script. So let's repeat all these steps again. So the first step is, if you want to build and deploy this application, as part of the first step, we clone the repository, right? This is our repository. Second step, we build the application using ma install. We get the var file, right? ls target. So this is the var file. Okay. So once the build is done, we get the var file, right? Then third step, we create the image. For third step, we have the Docker file already along with our application code, right? So this will bundle 20.04. Then it will install JDK, and then it will copy thought.gz to the /root directory. Remember, we'll be having Tomcat server installed under /root directory. And then under /root Apache Tomcat, we have web apps, and under web apps, we apply the var file. And here we are starting Tomcat server, right? Okay. So should I explain this now or later? Okay, let me explain this first, this line, entry point. And then we'll create multiple containers using shell script. So this is how we read the Docker file, right? So this is our Docker file. This is the image. This is your container. So this is my Docker file. Docker file. So first instruction is from, say, Ubuntu 20.04, blah, 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 blah. And before, what we have done, if you want to start Tomcat server, we used run instruction, right? Run, and then we say /root/ Apache Tomcat /bin/startup.sh. So here in the container, we have Ubuntu, we have JDK, we have Tomcat, we have the var file, and then we start Tomcat server. I'm not writing all this, you know this, right? This is a Docker file, same Docker file. So I'm focusing more on this entry point today. Okay. So if you use run instruction here, what will happen? Tell me. As we know, when we execute the Docker file, all these instructions will be executed in this temporary container, right? Okay. This is temporary container. So if you use what is run? Run and then command, right? So run will execute the command inside this temporary container, correct? We know that. So this will start Tomcat server in temporary container, okay? But what happens after that? This container gets converted as image. This is your Gamut cart image, correct? So here we have Ubuntu, JDK, Tomcat, var file, and then so run will start Tomcat server, but when this container gets converted as image, right? This server start is not captured in the image because we know image is static, correct? It's like a zip file. You cannot store something running in the image. That is the reason what's happening. If you use the run, right, in the container, server will not get started.
Está mal.
Go on.
Está duro.
See this, instead of entry point, here I will use run instruction. Let's see what happens. Run. Clear this, I'm using run. I want you to see the effect of run first. I'm saving the image, saving the Docker file, and then I'll create the Docker file. Docker build. Let me first list the images, Docker images, Docker RMI -f force image. Latest, there is a, if you have none, you can't delete this. Okay, you have to use the ID. Let me remove this also. So I don't have any images. Let's create the image with run option first. Okay. Docker build -t, and then this is your image name, gamut copy from image space dot. I'm actually using no cache because I want to build everything from scratch. There is some issue here. If there is any error, okay, while building your Docker file, this is how it shows. Here it says env key is equal to value. Let me fix that. I'll explain that later. It says this instruction is also deprecated now. apt-get install open jdk -11 jdk. That looks correct only. And that's because of the internet issue. I'm building the image again. Docker build -fn no cache image name. Okay, so with this Docker file, we just created the image, right? So this is the Docker file. So here we used run. Let's create a container from this image. Docker image. Docker run -it -name. Let me call it as say gamut cart server 1. This is the image we just built now. /bin/bash. See what's happening. Container is created, right? Just see if the Tomcat server is running or not. ps near grep for Tomcat. See, Tomcat server is not running. Why it's not running? Because of this issue. So this is starting Tomcat server, but once this container gets converted as image, since image cannot store something running, that is not working. So Tomcat server is not started automatically. And if you want to fix that, we use something called entry point. Okay. This is entry point. If it is entry point, you know how it works. This is entry point, right? Entry point. If it is entry point, then this instruction will not be executed here. No. Even though you start Tomcat server in temporary container, there is no use, right? Correct. So if you use entry point instruction and then give some command here, that will not be stored. That will not be executed in the temporary container. That will not be executed in the container. Instead, you know what happens? This entry point command will be stored here as it is. This entry point command. That means root, Apache Tomcat, bin, startup databases. The command itself is stored in the image. Clear with that? And then how it works? Whenever you create a container from this image, this command is already there in the image, right? Correct. So the command will be automatically called in the container, and you are executing this command in the container, correct? So Tomcat server will come up. Very simple. In case if you want to start something after the container is created, use entry point. So when
Sir, what actually written in that script? Sorry to have disturbed you.
which script?
That entry point equal to startup.sh is there, right? Bin sh.
Yeah.
Yeah, here. What actually written in that shell script actually?
This is the command using which we can start Tomcat server.
Okay, this is by default. We have not written anything in that script, right?
We have not written anything. When we install Tomcat,
Okay.
we'll get a folder, right? Under that, there will be a bin directory. Under bin directory, we'll be having startup.sh and then shutdown.sh.
Oh, by default with gz file, this will come when we extract. So we have to use this to start a Tomcat.
Yes, correct.
Okay, understood, sir.
If you want, I can show that to you here.
Yeah, we do not have service based. This is script based startup.
Exactly.
Okay.
Not a service. So this is the Tomcat installation. Okay.
Okay.
So this is where we deploy our var file, and we have the bin directory here.
Understood. Under bin directory, they have script.
Bin directory, we have startup.sh and then shutdown.sh. This is not.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, okay. So what happens? Once the container is created, if you want to start something, use entry point. So how entry point works? Entry point command will be directly stored in the image. And when you create a container from that image, that command will be automatically executed for us. So we say entry point is a build time command. Entry point is what? Very sorry. We say run is build time command. Run is what? Build time command. That's all right. So if you say run and then give something, when this will be executed? At the time of building the image, right? So we call run as what? Build time command. At the time of building the Docker file, at the time of building the image, this will be executed. So what is run? Run is build time command, remember. Whereas entry point is called as runtime command. This is build time command. This is runtime command. Runtime command means whenever you create and then run a container, right? This command will be automatically executed. So at the time of running the container, at the time of creating the container, this command is executed. So we call entry point as what? A runtime command. It's a very popular interview question. What is the difference between run and entry point? Say, if I give any command using run, that will be executed at the time of building the image. So run is a build time command, whereas entry point is a runtime command. Whatever command I give as part of entry point, that will be stored directly in the image. And then whenever I create a container from this particular image, that command will be automatically executed. Say, for example, give the same example. For example, once the container is created, I want to start Tomcat server. I want to start Nginx. Or say, for example, once the container is created, I want to start some script which will configure something, for example, database or whatever. So anything if you want to run after container is created, use entry point. Clear with this? Any questions about run and entry point? Okay. Now I've given entry point. Okay. I've given entry point. With this, let's build the image and then test it. I'm building the image again. Okay. So with entry point, let us run this. Okay. I'm going to create another container with the new image. And this time, this image has entry point. This image has a command, correct? See, Tomcat server started. So this is the container we are creating, right? Docker ps-a. This is the server, right? Gamut got server 2. See, server 2 is created. Container is created, but still there is one issue here. Can somebody tell me what is that issue? I've just created the container. Okay. And you see the container status exited. Is the container running? No. Understand the point? So when you are creating the container, with this new name, container is created, Tomcat is started, but container is not running because of this thing. At the end, here you have to say ampersand bash. Okay. What is this ampersand? Can somebody tell me? Using ampersand, you can run two commands at a time. Less ampersand pwd. This is ls command output, and this is pwd command output. So if you want to run multiple commands at once, you can use like this: calendar, ls pwd calendar. So what I'm doing here, I am running two commands. One is startup dataset. So once startup dataset is done, I'm running another command called bash. Bash means it will run a bash shell. Bash command will start a bash shell. Earlier, what happened? We created the container, but container is created, right? Container is created, and then this command got executed in the container, but container is going down automatically. Container went down automatically. Why? Because bash is not running in the container. Remember this, very important. If bash is not running in a container, container will automatically go down. Docker ps-a. See this container, latest one. See, it is automatically down. So why that container is going down? Because bash is not running. So assume that you have two servers in the container. One is Nginx, one is Tomcat. Nginx, sorry, Tomcat startup.sh, ampersand, you give another command, Nginx startup script, again ampersand, make sure that at the end you run bash. If the bash is not running in the container will go down automatically. So we have to use bash at the end. With this, let's build the image again. Docker build. I never know flashy. Okay. Done. There is some warning here. It says JSON argument recommended for entry point to prevent unintended behavior related to voice signals. Not understanding what is this. Let's see. It's a warning. We can ignore it, but let's. Let me just try to have the right one. It says bash is not required, the new one. Let's try this. Okay. Earlier, we used to use this syntax, this one. Now, with the new Docker, they say it's a deprecated. So they have the better approach. I want to use the latest one. Okay. Let's see if it works. I'm building the image again. In the meantime, let me just quickly read it. This is the new one, right? The previous one will, virtually launch a new shell and then it will run. The new format will directly run the command instead of landing, another shell. Leave that. That's very too much internal. Even it takes time for me also to understand that. Leave that. Leave that. Let's see if it is working first. Okay. So Docker run. I'm getting a new container. Okay. Docker run -it hyphen name. Let me call it as gamma card server 3, something like that. New image. Okay. /bin/bash. And in this image, we have entry point, right? This is the entry point. Let's see. Okay. Docker ps-a. This is the one. Okay. So ChatGPT mentioned this bash is not required. Since startup dataset should already start necessary services, there is no need for an additional bash shell. That's what it is, but looks like this is wrong. We have to give bash. Without bash, it is not running. Let's ask it again, because this seems wrong. It may be having a different context. Okay. Keep the container alive by explicitly ensuring that Tomcat stays running. It's giving some other command now. I'm just trying to give you the best practice. Okay, wait. Let's see if this works. If you want to comment something, you can use hash. Okay. Again, they say if the Tomcat server goes down, see, even if you follow this approach, right? If Tomcat server goes down, then container will go down. So this is not what we want. No. You see this? See, assume that you have a mission, right? You have a mission. We are running Tomcat server in that, right? If Tomcat server goes down, you want mission to be down? No, right? That's not our case, correct? So it says the container will remain alive because Tomcat will be the main process and then running. And the container will exit only when Tomcat server stops. If Tomcat server stops, also we want container to be running. Over the mind. Sometimes we restart Tomcat server, right? So this, ChatGPT says this is the best practice, but I don't think this is what we need. Maybe in a different case, but let's see at least if that is working. Let's test it. See the thing. Whatever command it gave, it is running Tomcat in the foreground mode. We don't want Tomcat server logs like this, right? In the mission. Container is run. You are in the container now, and it is showing that Tomcat server startup things for us. See, if I stop this server, container will go down. So we don't need that. Okay. So let's follow our own approach. That's better. So here, if you want to run two things, I think in this format, you have to give comma and then one more bash. Let me build it. Save it. It is not coming out of this from its opinion. David. Just correct the command for my. Okay, let's try with this only. So not accepting bash at the end. I think one last chance. It should work now.
Sir, you are on mute.
Okay, it's going back to my old thing only. Okay, so I'll find out that. See, ChatGPT is sticking to its point. Maybe we have to, ask it in a different way, convey our requirements in a different way. So this works basically. It will start Tomcat, and then this will start bash, but it is throwing that error. I just want you to understand that error. Okay, see this. This is the warning. It says JSON arguments recommended for entry point to prevent unintended behavior. So we have to come out of this. It says it's not safe. Okay. At the same time, we have to make our things also in place. Okay, I'll stop the class. Sorry to bother you. A lot of trials basically. I'll come back to that. I just wanted to give you the best. That's the reason. Okay. Otherwise, I could have just told you to ignore this warning. I'll try to do this warning with the best practice. So we will meet in the next class.
The Friday session is still not uploaded. They
The
uploaded
previous one is uploaded, Samir.
Yes, yesterday's session uploaded, but Friday session still not uploaded.
Today, Friday. That you mean yesterday's session?
Yeah, yesterday's was uploaded, but I think the other
Last Friday one.
Yeah, Friday they didn't.
They are facing some challenges, Samir, to find out that. That's what the message I got from them. Okay. I'll again ask them to, check in with Zoom, maybe support and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good night.